Hello amigos and welcome back, and in today's video we're going to be looking at 5 tips for when you hit AR40 if you're struggling to find content, what you should do. Now I do have to have a funny little story. I've actually just finished recording this video only to find out that my mic was switched off, so we've had to go back and do it all over again. But yeah, let's continue. Anyways, as we all know, when you do hit AR40, sort of AR40, 45, and even some of the lower levels like AR35 as well, you can get a little bit pushed for content. So I'm going to give you 5 tips that I do to help me maximize as much content in this game as possible, and so that you can have as much stuff to do and maximize your content in Genshin Impact. So let's take a look at these tips. So guys, tip number 1 is a really straightforward one, guys. Make sure you're doing your daily and your weekly missions or quests as well. So it's an easy way to pick up some free primo gems if you're doing your dailies. And with the weeklies, obviously I am aware obviously of the resin system. We will talk about that a bit later on in the video, but you want to be doing your dailies and you want to be doing your weeklies. It's going to give you great EXP and help you leveling up, and also you are going to get a chance to grab some materials. As you can see that I've just picked up a purple artifact. Sorry, I lost the word there. I picked up an artifact. And you obviously will get the primo gems, you will get all the EXP, and it's going to be your main source of leveling up your characters sort of long term in the end game. So yes, tip number 1, guys, make sure you're doing your dailies and make sure you're doing your weeklies. Alright, tip number 2. You want to focus on leveling your characters and also focus on leveling their weapons as well. So when I hit AR40, I only had a main team of D-Look, Official, Venti, and I was at the time using Barbara. But I then decided, obviously I was completing the Spiral Abyss and I needed a second team. So when I did hit that sort of AR40, I noticed that I had a lot of other great characters that I just simply wasn't using, and then I got really lucky and managed to pull a Mona. You should check that video out, it is on my channel, or you can check it out over at twitch.tv at FrostiesAmigo. I have got it up in my highlights. But yeah, I noticed that I had a lot of characters that I wasn't using and that I had half leveled. So my Razor, who was my main DPS before getting D-Look, he was level 50. Mona was obviously level 1 when I got her, and also my Bennett was, I think, level 3. So all that I did is I decided I would level these characters, and that actually gave me a wealth of content because there was so much materials that I needed to get. And obviously I was then able to complete the higher levels of the Spiral Abyss. So my advice is, obviously once you do hit AR40, you will have got quite a few characters, and as you can see through my list, there's quite a few there that I've half leveled, and in the progress eventually I will like to level them all up. Also guys, make sure you take a look at their weapons as well. So obviously my D-Look here, he's got his level 80 weapon. If we go to Official, it's 80, 70, and so on and so on. So obviously, when you're picking your characters, you want to try and get them as strong as possible, obviously based on the party that they're in. So it's not just a case of just leveling the characters, you also want to find them some decent weapons and level those as well. It will give you a much, sort of much more content for you to do if you do pick someone to focus on, and then obviously pick someone else a different day. So tip number 2, guys, level your characters, level their weapons. Okay, now the big one, tip number 3, guys. Resin usage. Now obviously we all know this game has a resin system, whether we like it or not. Not these guys, anyone but these guys. But you want to make sure that you are focusing your resin on what you're going to be doing. So obviously at the moment the event is live, and I'm focusing my resources solely on getting these rewards. But in your day-to-day usage, so your sort of daily stuff you're going to be doing in this game, if I just quickly go into the menu, just in the middle of a fight that I could lose, hopefully not, your characters. Okay, so, not that one. So if we go into their talents, you're going to see that D-Look needs these books, which can only be farmed Tuesday and Friday. So there we go. So for Friday, for me, which is tomorrow, I know that if I want to level up this talent, I'm going to need some more of these books. I've got 5, but again, I'm going to need them. I'm going to need them here as well. So if I want to level those up, so I know Friday I can use my resin usage there, but also he's got a weapon. Let's actually pick Venti's weapon because I can actually level that one. So for Venti's weapon, here I need to farm these materials, and I can only do them Wednesday and Saturday. So I know that Saturday I could be farming these, and then it allows me to use my resin wisely and split it up across the days rather than expending it. And making it run out during the day. I can then use it and utilize it equally across the week, so that I'm never really running out, and it's always sort of in constant usage. Now obviously big hits to this do include the weekly bosses, which are going to hit you for 60, and also the other world bosses, which can hit you for 40, which you may need to use to level up your characters. So guys, just make sure that you're taking a look at what you need, particularly when it comes to tip 2 as well, which was the leveling characters. You are going to need to pick certain things and pick certain days to find those materials, and obviously we're not including the event in that. The event is obviously a resin cost as well, so I do understand if you are using your resin now for that, it makes sense. So guys, tip number 3, make sure you're using your resin wisely. On to tip number 4 guys, make sure that you're farming materials in the world once you've finished with your resin. So obviously once you've picked your characters, you've used up all your resin and you've got the materials you need, there are going to be other materials that you need. Oh, a random bit. We are gonna leave those ones. But yeah, there are going to be other materials in the world that you're going to need to pick up. So as you can see here, I'm farming ores at the moment, and I'm looking around for lampshades. For lampshades of grass. There's some over there. Trying to avoid the fight, don't really want it. But yeah, there are going to be these items all around the world. Now these items do take a while to refresh if you do farm them, so I tend to only pick a couple that I'll farm a day for the characters that I'll be leveling. Obviously I am leveling my razor at the moment, and I'll need these. So obviously once all of the resin is done, just take a look and see what other items you might be needing. Also, if you open your journal and you go down to the bosses tab, underneath all the ones that require resin, which you would have used up already, there are a bunch of other bosses, and you are going to need these rewards as well, and they do all have a chance to drop artifacts as well. Now obviously artifacts is good food for your other artifacts essentially, so again, make sure you go down the list and go and complete them. Now once you've completed, I'm not sure how many are in there, there's a few in there you can go and take out. But once you have taken them all out, it will go on to a short cooldown and you will not be able to do them again. But there's several in here, and each are going to drop items that you need. So guys, once you've picked your character, once you've finished with your resin, tip number 4, make sure you go and farm all the materials that don't require resin. And for my last tip guys, it's one that took me a while to appreciate guys, and that is create yourself a second, more free-to-play account, if already not free-to-play guys. Obviously there's a lot of stuff to do on your main account. If you create yourself a second account, it's only going to double the amount of stuff you need to do. Now I got very lucky with this account and managed to get a couple of 5 stars. I actually pulled 2 this week, and I haven't put any money, I haven't bought any crystals or anything. I do have a Belkin. I think everyone should have a Belkin. If you don't have one, you're missing out on some easy great rewards. I mean, for a free game, a 5 is not that bad. But essentially you're going to have double the amount of stuff to do, double the amount of quests to do, and yes, some of them obviously are repetitive and you don't really want to do them again. I know the one that I'm thinking of. It's handing in all the Geoculus, yeah, that one. But obviously if you do create yourself a second account, you are obviously then going to be able to play around with different characters, because it's unlikely, or it can be likely as well, to pick up the same characters. But obviously you don't have to choose to level them. You can play a different playstyle and not have to worry about expending so much resources. It did take me a while before I started giving this account some more attention, but that was the whole concept of a second account. You don't have to sort of play it as seriously as you play your main account. You can just sort of play it more for the story and level up some great characters on the way. So yeah guys, tip number 5, create yourself a second account. Well guys, that's the end of today's video. Those were 5 easy tips to follow if you're struggling to find content once you hit the higher AR levels. Now, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, if there's anything else you do that helps you maximize the content in this game, or whether or not you're going to create that second account or not. It did take me a while, but with the luck I've had on this account, I think I am going to keep playing it. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can find out when I'm posting some more Genshin Impact information. From your boy FrostiesAmigo, I'm out.